Hi there. This is just a silly little fantasy map I did a few months ago. I just made lots of little fictional continents with lots of little fictional creatures in them. Not very detailed, obviously, but this was just a funny thing I did a while ago when I was bored. I've always loved doing things like this, where you draw weird shapes, say it's a continent, then draw borders of it, put a name, there you go. It's pretty easy. I've done this a few times in the past, quite a lot actually. I've never made a video on anything like this before. But I'll just go around. There's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. There's about like seven. Oh wait, no. Eight. Oh, I'm bad at maths. There's like 7 or 8 land masses, all with different kingdoms and stuff. But one thing I tried to challenge myself on was none of these have humans in them. So this is a world completely devoid of humans, but it has a bunch of fantasy races. And I'll go along from the northeast over here down to the southwest. That's how I'll do it. That's the southwest, the last one, northeast, the first. Right, so here's the first, the troll country. So like trolls in Lord of the Rings and in Scandinavian folklore, they're big and they might turn to stone in the light of the sun, stuff like that. Again, none of this has much lore. I just wanted to make kingdoms with fantasy race names on it. I don't know. Kind of cool. So troll country, ogre oligarchy. I thought that was funny. They could have like an oligarchy and it rhymed. A lot of these rhyme, but a lot of them I couldn't think of rhyming words for. But ogre oligarchy, don't know what an ogre is, think of Shrek. I don't know how close to the actual fantasy Shrek is to like what an actual ogre is in the mythology, but it's interesting. The orc domain. Orcs are obvious, everyone knows what an orc is. Big green guy with tusks coming out their mouths. Usually quite evil, especially Lord of the Rings orcs. You could also make a very strong argument, to suggest Tolkien actually invented what we see as an orc, in the sense where I don't really think they existed in fantasy, in fiction, in mythology before him. Same thing with hobbits. You might have had halflings, but I don't think hobbits would have existed. Goblins were not his invention. A lot of Tolkien stuff comes from Anglo-Saxon and Norse mythology, like elves, dwarves, all of that, trolls. It's interesting. Then down here you have the goblin realm, just little green little goblin dudes with big pointy noses, big pointy ears, stuff like that. There you go. Again, none of this has any real lore at the moment. I did this like months ago and I thought it was funny. Now this continent is in the shape of like a weird crab and it's called the Gargoyle Grand Duchy. Gargoyles are cool. I always thought gargoyles were cool, and they're pretty awesome because they're not really evil. They look evil because they look demonic. But if anyone knows the actual lore, lore is such a cringe word, the actual backstory behind like why gargoyles are on churches is actually, I think it's to do with scaring away demons. They're supposed to look scary on purpose to scare away demons from the churches. It's quite fascinating. In this world, obviously, there aren't any churches, but, well, as of yet, who knows? But the Gargoyle Grand Duchy over there. Now we move on to the most prominent continent, this continent here. Again, none of these have any names or anything. All you people, anyone that watches this can come up with a name themselves, but I just think this is kind of funny. So you have the fairy fiefdom over here. Just, little fairies, little pixies up there in the north. The High Elf Imperium over there, just an empire of elves. Everyone knows what an elf is, let's be honest. The Drow domain. Just imagine, I don't know, women that live in a forest covered in leaves and tree branches and stuff, if you want. I don't know. Just imagine that. Blood Elf Bastion. Elves, but edgier. Elves, but edgier again with Night Elf Principality. Centaur Sovereignty, you know, a centaur, half man, half horse. Minotaur, what's that? Minotaur Confederacy, so half man, half bull. Lamia Isle, basically Gorgons, basically Medusa, but without the ability to turn someone into stone. Cyclopean Centrality, you know, basically giants with one eye, pretty much. And what's here? Fish. This is just called the Fishman. A fishman, that's obvious, literally self-explanatory. Lizard Man Republic, self-explanatory. Dragon Men, basically just anthropomorphic dragons, basically. And by dragons, I mean like the Western dragon, not really an East Asian dragon. Giant Geomancy. So this one actually interests me the most. So obviously everyone knows what a giant is, but a Geomancer is highly interesting because a Geomancer, they could like basically imagine earthbenders from Avatar. So I could make a lot of lore just around this island alone. And obviously there's the two poles. There's the North Pole over here, nothing here. South Pole over here, nothing here. I was thinking of maybe putting like ice demons or white walkers or ice zombies or something. That could be cool, I don't know. But yeah, this is just a silly little video of a fantasy map I did a few months ago that I haven't actually made a video on until just now. So there you go. Bye-bye.